Mark Blumenthal with Near Media, and I'm here today with Zachary Dotson, a marketer in the home services area who has been paying a lot of attention to the local service ads guarantee scam. So maybe you could introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what you do and your experience with this problem.
My name's Zachary. I do marketing for Air Duct and AC service in Florida. We've been running local services for about a year, but since August or the last five months or so, we've been seeing a lot of these fake companies pop up that either have stolen profiles or stolen licenses, and it's kind of made it a lot more competitive than it should be, but in a fake way, and then cost us a lot of business, cost a lot of people a lot of money that paid to have a service done, and the service either wasn't done or it was done improperly. There's a whole load of different stories we've heard from people that have called us that aim to have us clean up other messes.
And do you see it mostly in duct cleaning, or do you see it in other HVAC areas?
Yeah, it's mostly the duct cleaning. We kind of combine duct and like AC cleaning, because if you're coming there and the ducts are nasty, a lot of times that means your AC unit is also nasty. That's what's spreading it in the first place. But yeah, we have a similar story every time, is that we have someone call and they said we had someone come out for $99. They stayed for an hour, left, and then we had our AC service come out and they said, "Man, your system's nasty." And they said, I don't know how that could be a thing when we just had guys out here last month to fix that. So we see that a lot, where it's a lot of redo kind of work, where they realize after the fact that maybe it was too good to be true at that price, or a lot of times they get quoted 99, and then the instant this person walks in the door and opens something up, they say, "No, this is 1,500." We see a lot of that though, where it's very, very low prices out of the gate, and then it's either not done for that price and it's quoted magnitude higher, or they sit there on their phone and do nothing for the hour and then leave and call it done. And all they did is hook maybe a shop vac up for an hour and left.
So I'm seeing a number of things. One, they in Florida frequently use somebody else's business license. They use a fake name. Typically it goes to a call center in Asia someplace. And they frequently participate in bait and switch, where they quote 99 and charge some ungodly number. So you're seeing all of that in the cases you've been looking at?
So you see them in reviews a little bit, and then I've watched some of your stuff where you see it with people, but really we hear a lot more. I mean, the kind of people scams like that, surprisingly, they don't leave negative reviews most of the time. We hear it over the phone with people that call a lot. That's how we hear most of it. But yeah, there's a lot of either like fake licenses. I mean, not fake, but real licenses that are being used fraudulently.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times there's just no one to track it to, and who's doing that? It's a ghost company. We've seen a lot of times where it's unmarked vans. We had at one point someone was using our license and pretending to be us through Facebook, where we had people booking. And they were like, "Oh, we had you guys come out." And it's like, "Well, no, we didn't. We've never been at that address." And then they sent us like ring camera footage, and it's two people. We have no idea who they are. They show up in a white van. We don't know who they are. We contacted the police about that, and they tried to set up like a situation where they would come at the same time as, like, we'd set up a fake service at a residential house, and then they'd come at the same time and try to catch the people. But no one wants to do that, because no one wants to be the people that live at that house and have these two strangers come up, just for fear of like kind of retribution.
And have the authorities responded at all positively in terms of you reporting them?
No, they don't. We've done authorities, we've done lawyers. No one really seems to care, because there's no one to really chase down. Other than that situation with those two people that we had footage of, and since those are unlicensed, but in general with like the local service ads, even if they stole a license, if they stole money, no one seems to care. It's kind of a situation, well, oh, you hired them, they did the work, you owe them money. It's not a situation where, oh, their license is stolen, or, oh, they're not even a registered business, which in Florida you have to be to do air duct cleaning.
So the scam is pretty consistent. In fact, I found it across Europe, England, and other parts of the United States beyond Florida. I know you've been active in the Google forums. I've seen you there. Have attempted to report these instances to Google? And
Yep. Yeah, we've had tickets. Last I checked, they were still open, but they've been open for months now. Every once in a while, we get a reply that somebody's looking at it, but then you don't ever hear back.
and
Um,
so obviously, if Google doesn't fix this, you're sort of in a very awkward competitive position because these guys are lowballing the price. Obviously, somebody can't even come out to a house these days, drive a van, send two technicians, and do any work for $99. So clearly, the lost leader pricing and then the scam up puts you guys at a competitive disadvantage.
First off, you can't for $99 to spend the gas and to have to even go over there and to pay your technician, to have pay your vans, your equipment, your insurance. I mean, even all that together. I mean, it wouldn't even be worth an hour of work out there to do it for 99. But then that's not even taking into effect the lead cost. The lead cost can be easily $70 for that lead in local services. So there's no way to make money off of that. So it's just a way
Mhm.
to get their foot in the door and then scare you into paying more.
Has the cost always been $70 on duct cleaning?
No, when we first started, I would say it was a year ago. I think it's hard to say because they don't show you the old pricing, but I want to say that it was around $35, maybe closer to 40. It was a lot less. In the last few months, it's gone up considerably.
So obviously you have a high cost per lead, and which drives the job cost up, but also means you can't accept these very low jobs. I mean, have you seen other impacts on your business? Have you lost any customers because of the pricing
But
structure?
yeah, so since local service ads appears above regular Google results, even organic results or maps, what'll happen is if somebody looks up air cleaning, even just out of curiosity, they have 5 or 6 numbers that appear right at the top that they can call and ask for pricing. So even if we show at the very top and someone calls us and they like the profile, they say, read your reviews, they look good, your photos look good, your website looks good. Even if all that matters and they looked us up and book with us, there's a lot of other people they can shop with. And if even we've seen, even if they look us up specifically, so if they look up our name specifically, before our organic results or before our website, a lot of times local services still shows. So then that might drive them to, call somebody else. And then if they call someone else and they get quoted 99, which isn't realistic pricing, if they get quoted that, then, they cancel. So we've had a lot of
Hey,
people that cancel, and then just because they found pricing that's $89, $99, it just doesn't make
mhm,
sense to book for more than that in their eyes.
right. And have you had customers calling you after they booked the $99 deal and
Yep, we
decided,
get that a
yeah,
lot. Yeah, we get that a lot where someone says, I paid $99 for these guys, and then my AC company came to service something or check something or change the filter, and they said it's filthy and needs to be cleaned. Or we've had situations where somebody did the 99, and then less than a week later they're noticing dust all over their furniture, or like more dust coming out of the vent. So a lot of times all they do is just hook a machine up, like maybe a shop vac, stir some dust up in one of the two of the vents, and then leave and say it's done. And then it just either makes things worse, or whenever somebody actually goes to check the work, if they do, then they see that nothing was actually done.
So, how do you compete in this world? I mean, in a world where Google, the police don't seem to care, the authorities can't nail this. It's like nailing Jello to a tree,
Right.
and Google is not taking action. How do you perceive the competitive environment and its short and medium and long term impact on your business?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing we can do is we can tell people, even when people cancel, a lot of times we tell them, do your homework, make sure that they're actually licensed, actually insured, ask them about the process and make sure, because there's a lot of scams. We have to let people know that all the time. We've even had people that booked with us that weren't going to cancel, but they said, I know a neighbor that got it done for this price. And it's, we have to explain to them. But yeah, a lot of times we're going back over people's work to fix it. I mean, a lot of times we'll have to book a free estimate and come out and see what did they do? Did they mess anything up? Did they even do a job? What needs to be fixed? A lot of people come to their senses afterwards, unfortunately, where they realize like $99. I don't think I would have went out there and done it, so I don't know why they would. Or I mean,
Have you heard? I mean, obviously the LSA ads are compelling, particularly these people that are stealing licenses because they often steal reviews and they have thousands of reviews, often from public attractions. Have you heard of many of these users going back to Google and taking advantage of the guarantee?
no, I know you can. It's just it's one of those things. Even with like the tickets that we've submitted, I mean, you're waiting weeks. You don't know, are you going to hear back from them? It's easier to just kind of do it yourself. To if you can, back charge a credit card or cancel a check or whatever you can do. I mean, if your if your only option left is that, but the problem is that in Google's eyes, they're legitimate. They put their seal of approval on them. So if they came out and did the work, then the work's done according to them. I don't trust that they would actually refund it. And if they would, it would require so much effort on your part to prove, what they did or didn't do, and who's going to sit there and you record everything and write everything down. A lot of these guys don't want to give. I mean, they don't want to give receipts. They don't want to like show up in a marked van. I mean, there's nothing to really prove to Google that this was them that showed up that you're talking about. This was their work. How do you prove that without documenting the entire thing A to Z, which no one's expecting to have to do that.
Right. Any other thoughts for other businesses that are competing in this nationally, Texas, Maryland, where we're seeing it a lot?
I mean, really, the only thing I can think of is keep pressuring Google, keep submitting everything. The problem is it's so easy. Like the parks, it's so easy to see it. You open the park next to the regular one, you show them. I mean, it's one for one. You see the same reviews, the same names, the same photos. Even if
Right.
you weren't to look at them, you see pictures of dogs and trees. What does it have to do with air duct cleaning?
Right.
If one person spent 2 minutes to look at that, they would know that those aren't real reviews. But the problem is, I don't think anybody actually reviews them.
Right. Yeah. So one of the things I found today, which I thought was interesting, is I found one of these duct cleaning scams stealing reviews from Stanley Steamer. So Stanley Steamer had 2,700 reviews that were stolen. So this is a duct cleaning company in Baltimore and DC area,
Mhm.
stealing reviews from a company in Peoria, and it was because it wasn't a public attraction. There were no photos, and the reviews sort of made sense. They came to the house, they did a good job, they cleaned up after themselves. So the reviews weren't totally weird, right? They were very difficult to spot. So I think what I'm seeing is that these guys are getting more sophisticated in terms of whose reviews they steal, not just these
Yeah.
attractions. So
Yeah, I mean that one I would think would be easier just because if Stanley Steamer has, Google, which I would hope they do, it should be easy to say this is my content, take it down. But it's
but
it's
Stanley
harder
Steamer
when
doesn't know that it's happening, right? One of these days soon, Google will take action. Certainly, it seems like this has been an ongoing problem, and it seems like not only are businesses at risk, but consumers are too. Thanks again,
for
Zach. I
sure.
really appreciate you taking the time.
Yep, thank you. Thank you.